We're all going to fail.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is limit the failures,
Thank y'all for joining the Twin Cast. It's the podcast where business and faith are our foundation, and a good laugh is always on the house. We're identical twin sisters navigating the real estate world one deal at a time. The Twin Cast starts now. Welcome back to the Twin Cast. We're Nicole and Cherie, identical twin sisters, and your host of the Twin Cast.
And on this podcast, we talk about faith, real estate, and leveling up. Nicole, let's go.
All right, let's get into it. It's halftime, baby.
Halftime, baby. Yes. So I'm so excited about that. At least I was the other day when I walked into the office. I started telling Nicole about it, and her energy, to be honest, was a little off.
It was. I wasn't at the halftime mentality, but you know what? I needed to get pumped up, and
Yes.
she did a great job. Tell us why you were so pumped up.
I'm pumped up because we have life experiences. We have been taught things. We have learned things. We have went through ups and downs. We have gone through all the things. And now we get to tell the people that are in the first half of their life, we get to tell them what we've learned and hopefully get to prevent some downfalls for them and get to impart some wisdom. So here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, we have had so much fun seeing these young adults in our classes, the Future Foundation classes, seeing their light bulbs go off, talking to them about it. It encourages us because look, we've made mistakes. We've navigated through not having money, marriage, divorce, credit, all the things, hard things to go through. And if we can shave off some of those 10 years of those bad experiences, those life lessons, if we can give this information to them, gosh, we do it. And now we love it because we know that it's going to help them.
100%. We
Because
know.
it would have helped us.
Yeah, if someone, and I'm sure there were people, and I know of people that were in my life telling me different things, but now I get to be one of those people that were influential in my life, that were people that I can look back now and say, oh, I remember when she told me that. That's why she told me that. Oh, I understand now. And I can be one of those people for our younger generations, our younger married couples, our younger moms, our younger students, whoever it is, that we get to impart knowledge on. I'm like over the moon excited about it because I finally can do that. It all started because I was reading a book by John Maxwell, and he was saying, how he was interviewing someone that was talking about their halftime and what they had learned in their first half and what now they're learning and teaching to other people. And so I was like, hey, I'm in that. That's me. He's talking to me,
I is we. Just so y'all know,
Sure.
when she says I, it's we.
It's we.
Unless it's something bad, then it's not we.
Then it's not we. But definitely. So when he was talking about that, I started thinking about all the experiences that I had. And I thought, it's like having the college diploma, right? And you're getting to say, you're applying for all these jobs, right? And they're like, oh man, I wish, your resume looks great and glad that you got that diploma, but
Don't have the experience.
the experience, it always gets them. It gets them every time. And so now we have both. We have the experience and then we have the education. So we got both. I mean,
And we have some experiences. I mean, even
mm,
you had mentioned when you worked at Eckerd's and you had a boss talk to you about you holding up the register. How'd that work out for you?
well, I was 18 or so, and I thought, I had done what I needed to do. I was a cashier. There was nobody in line. What the heck,
18-year-old self said, don't do anything. But the experienced self would now say, which you're being able to provide to these young adults in our Future Foundation class. What are you telling them now?
I'm telling them, find something to do, baby. Find something to
Get
do. Yeah, because we need you to be doing something. If it's you were hired to be a cashier, but if you need to be a stalker, if you need to be a mopper,
a straightener upper,
whatever you need to be, find something to do. So I get to tell them that. Be an adder. Add something to the relationship. If you're an employee, add something because there's somebody else that if you won't do it, somebody else will.
Get somebody else to do it. That does not need to be your mentality.
No.
You need to be the person that says, I got it, whatever it is, because we know now if you are adding to the equation, if you're making the place of employment better, if your boss sees that, man, think of the places you'll go.
My goodness. Yeah. And that boss he did teach me. It did, light bulb did go off, and
Okay.
I started thinking, okay, well, I guess I need to do X, Y, and Z, and it did prepare me. So I do appreciate one of that moment because I could have took it and thought, man, what a jerk,
I mean, that's what most young adults at this age now think. Anytime there's
Mhm,
correction involved, it's like, why did he have to tell me that? He doesn't like me. Nope, it's not about liking. It's not about any of that. It's about, hey, you were hired for a reason.
mhm,
We need you to do a service. And that's
mhm,
what you have to think as an employee. I'm here to service not just the company, but other people. And if you go
mhm.
with the mentality of, I'm here to serve someone, something,
I'm here
do
to
something,
add.
I'm here to add. I mean, it's going to add value, but it's going to put you in, it's going to open doors up for you.
Man, yes, and it did. Actually, that was the first of many other jobs that I had, but it took that experience and for me to be open minded enough to
Mhm.
listen and to take the correction and not take it as this horrible person, but I looked at it as a learning opportunity at that particular moment. There were countless other times that I did not take the information and fell right on my face. And those are the times that I get to tell our students, hey, it's important to understand credit because guess what? When you don't have good credit, you get treated not so well. You get put on the back burner. You get
The side eye.
mistreated.
You get the side eye.
Yes,
I
you get.
mean, and you're going to need your credit. And now that we know that with those experiences and how you were treated with your low credit
Yeah,
and
with
no
my low
credit
credit
and bad credit.
and bad credit, yeah, I got treated really like trash, and it was so sad. But it taught me something. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be in this position again. Let me fix it, and I
Mhm.
fixed it. And I want them to not have to go through that. I want them to
You don't
start
want
with,
them to experience the shame, the
yeah,
embarrassment,
no,
because
avoidable.
it's avoidable. And I was listening to something I was telling you about Jim Rohn, and we're
Mhm,
just talking about little habits. But those little habits, I mean, they you're gonna go somewhere if you just make those little fixes and you do the little habits. Or they're gonna be. We talk about money, and we're talking about your credit and getting these credit cards,
mhm.
$250 at a credit union.
Yeah,
Okay, pay it off. Do what you're supposed to do with this little amount of credit,
yeah.
and eventually you're going to be able to get loans, $100,000 loans, car loans, whatever you need. But you
Hmm.
have to be able to manage that little bit, and that's what that experience taught you when you walked into that dealership and you weren't paying your bills on time and you weren't doing those things.
Hmm.
You understood. Okay, shoot, this is affecting me in big ways.
Yeah, 100%. That principle, if you're faithful with a little bit, will make you ruler of much. It doesn't just apply to money. That's in anything. If you
Hmm.
think of anything that you manage well, you get more of.
Hmm.
If you manage a relationship well, you'll have more relationships.
Hmm.
I think that's an important principle to learn in general. But my experience, the wisdom, this is wisdom now, telling people this is what I've learned because of my failures. Now I have the experience to tell you to do things differently. Now that I've been married for 16 years, I'm able. Now I have a daughter that's 21, so I get to talk to those young couples that have younger kids and tell them, hey, this is what I learned, from raising Elena and Jackson. This is how I understand this is what worked for us, in our marriage. This is how I treated Jesse. This is how you should or should not. This is when you raise your hand and say, I have a problem, raise the
I
white
was just
flag.
about raise your hand and get ready to hit someone.
No
Not that I was
hitting.
going towards Elena, but no.
No, no, no hitting.
Okay.
Yeah, no, no. We do spank.
You're an advocate for that,
I
okay.
am, I am. And so is the Bible. So I just follow the Bible. I do not condone abuse, but I do think that, in every child is different.
Hmm.
I was listening to something the other day and he was saying exactly that. Do you believe in spanking? Yes. Do you believe in just talking? Yes. It depends on your kid,
Hmm.
and every kid is different. But I do believe discipline is important, but I get to tell that now
Hmm.
to younger
Yeah, we had
moms.
totally different kids.
Yes.
Jackson and Elena completely different.
Completely
So
different.
what worked for Elena didn't work for Jackson, and vice
Hmm.
versa.
Yes.
I would say for me, in my experiences, I was talking to one of the videographer in doing our future foundations, and we're talking about our commission-based business
Hmm.
and how well, that's a learning experience because I was always in corporate America working a steady job, eight to
Hmm.
five or whatever you have, and income was consistent. You knew
Yeah.
what it was, you knew what your paycheck was going to look
Hmm.
like, maybe a couple hours overtime, whatever. But when you get in a commission-based business, you're making thousands of dollars and you're like, oh, I'll never run out of money. Yeah, right. Until you do. Until you
Right.
do, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't plan for that season
Hmm.
of the market changing
Yeah.
and just you didn't plan for it or I didn't plan for it. And so I had to navigate in what I would tell my younger self and or in jumping into a commission-based business is, hey, slow down, save your money
Hmm.
because it's gonna
Winter's coming.
winter's coming. You got to
Hmm.
save up for it because you don't know when that's going to happen. It could be a crash, it could be a good season, bad season, but you need to be prepared for it
Yeah.
because the statistics show that as far as a real estate agent, they'll get out in the first year
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
they didn't plan for it. They don't know what to expect. You don't know what to expect. So it's just about managing money. And I thankfully had people in my corner to say, hey, you didn't manage your money, but we're going to get you to managing your money. Because I almost went back to working back corporate America and doing
Hmm.
that job, which is fine. And either way, but I did take notes from it, learn from it. I had
Yeah.
people in my corner to help me say, "Hey, we got you. We're gonna figure out this together. And you're not gonna be there again."
Yeah, that's the important part, learning from it, and I think that's called learning forward. I believe something like that. But important if you can learn from, because we're all going to fail.
Yep.
What we're trying to do is limit the failures.
Mm-hmm.
If we can be a buffer, if we can say prevent the fall, we can't prevent all of them,
Mm-hmm.
right? But because I believe from your biggest successes are failures, right? But there are some that can be avoided, and we want to navigate you through that, or prevent them if possible, right? And so that second half is all that time that that we get, that we've learned, that we've grown, that we've walked through all those different seasons in our life, and now we get to talk to all the people, as many people as we can, as often as we can, is important to me. I get excited about it because there's so many people that we can talk to now.
Mm-hmm. And need to know it. So need to
Yeah.
know some of the stuff that we've learned and bumped our head and scraped our
Hmm.
leg on. So we're
Hmm.
we're excited about that. What would you tell your younger self, at 18 years old? What would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself at 18, because my first husband, he was a pastor's kid and I was a pastor's kid, right? We grew up in church under the pews. And so, and to everyone's, everyone looked at us
Shock.
and thought, yeah, shock, yeah. To everyone would look at us and thought we were a perfect couple, right? But inside our home, we were not a perfect couple. And so, what I would say to an 18-year, because I got married when I was 19, I think, and I would tell the younger self, I would say, have the relationship with God, because sitting on the bench doesn't matter. And
Mm-hmm.
going to church 5 times a week, I don't care how many times you go, if you're not involved in the relationship, it's not going to make a difference of you being in a building. So I would say the most important relationship you have is with God. Find the relationship with God, and every other relationship will benefit from it. And so, if because I would go back and tell myself, get the relationship right.
Okay.
I learned early on, after that failure. It was a huge failure and, sad situation, but we learned so much, both me and Dwayne, my ex-husband. We learned so much from that, and we are now really good friends, and would do anything for each other. But we learned from that mistake that the relationship with God mattered. And then we get to carry that on. And from that learning experience, we get to tell people about that marriage that failed, and how you can prevent that failure, and how you can circumvent that. And so that's what I would say to my 18-year-old self. What would you say to your 18-year-old self?
I would say just getting out of high school. And I would say high school wasn't the funnest time for me, and I didn't enjoy it much. But what I would say is like you said, have that relationship with God, but believe in what He says and who He says you are. You are a child of the King. You are perfect and made in His image. You are enough. And I would believe that wholeheartedly because I do now. I believe that. Nobody can tell me anything about, I mean, just can't. I love who I am. And then I didn't. but I do now because I believe that even in my shortcomings, even when I make mistakes, even when it isn't rainbows and unicorns, I believe that I am still enough. And if it's not gold yet, it will be. And I know that God's promises are that He's going to keep He's faithful and He'll keep His promises. So that's what I would tell my younger self is get in the Word and believe what God says, who you are.
Important. Important, because there's a lot of people right now unsure of who they are and wondering, what is my purpose? Where do I need to go? How do I do it? And I believe that if they find God, all those other things will come together, that all the picture will start to come together. It doesn't mean you have the answer for everything, but it means that you'll end up having peace about the direction of your life. And when you just have that peace, it changes things. It changes the way you wake up. It changes the way you go to sleep. It changes every step you take. If there's a peace about knowing who your God is, who your creator is, and that He has the best intention for your life. So I wholeheartedly believe that, and I know that somebody needed to hear that. Sister Nicole.
Amen. Well, if you love today's episode, like, subscribe, or share.
And if you'd like to be on a show, just send us a DM. And until next time, keep dreaming big, planning smart, and remember, with the right team, you hold the keys.